Hello YouTube, my name is Radaby and welcome back to another episode of my Survivor Review. So starting off the episode, we basically have the next day after Tribal Council, and Michael, in a very desperate situation, he has to go and look for an idol. He is the lone man in he's the lone person in a 3 alliance with Desiree, Angela, and Kellen. So he has no choice but to look for an idol. He looks, and with the knowledge of the other girls, they don't stop him, which, if I were in their situation, I would think, okay, maybe this won't be a big deal. If we lose, we can send him home anyway. Although they're still frustrated about them losing, so it's like a counter, like, catch-22 thing. So I'm like, why wouldn't you try to stop him from looking for an idol? It's just like in last season, you know, when Ben won, he did the exact same thing. He was looking for idols, you know, morning, noon, and night, and no one ever stopped him. But they do let him look for an idol. He does find one, and it turns out to be one of the most iconic pieces of Survivor props, I should say, in the entire history of the game. It is the fake idol that Ozzy made in Micronesia when he was on exile. He left it on exile, Jason found it, he thought it was a real idol, he gave it to Eliza, she obviously knew it was a fake. They end up playing it at Tribal, Eliza goes home. I just find it so cool that they're bringing such an iconic piece of Survivor history and bringing it into Ghost Island. And now it's not a fake idol, it is actually a real idol, and he can play it at Tribal Council. So Michael now has a hidden immunity idol. Also, I find it interesting that Michael seems to find like the very iconic pieces of props, because he already found the James idol, and now he's found the fake idol that Ozzy made. Those are very standout pieces, so I find it interesting that he's finding a lot of the more iconic ones, but we'll get to some more of those iconic props later in the review. We go ahead and go to the reward challenge. Naviti and Yangyua, they win yet again. Malolo loses. The reward was, the first place winner would get steak, would get chicken kebabs, salt, pepper, spices, and then the second place winner would just get chicken kebabs. And also, the winning tribe gets to choose between the two leftover tribes, and they can choose who goes to Ghost Island, or they can just go to Rocks. So they decide to send Kellen back to Ghost Island. She's the only person to go there twice, and the reasoning behind that is so that they don't, like, spread the secrets of Ghost Island out to many other people. They want to keep it confined. Kellen gets to Ghost Island. She does get to play the game of chance yet again, but this time the odds have increased, or the advantage has increased, I should say. Now, instead of being 2 pieces or 2 logs that hold a possible advantage, now there's 3, and 2 of them hold a possible advantage. And of course, you're risking your vote as well, but the odds have gone up in your favor. So, do you take it, do you not? Personally, 100% I would definitely take it. Your odds have gone up, and there's a more likelihood that you would find an advantage since you have more options. So she plays, and yes, she does pick out a log with an advantage in it. And it turns out it's one advantage that we have talked about before in my history of doing Survivor reviews. It is actually a steal a vote that was used in Game Changers that ended up sending Michaela home. It was the one that was by Michaela's feet at the immunity challenge that she didn't notice right by her foot. But Sarah saw it, she grabbed it, and she used it to send Michaela home. But now it is changed into an extra vote. So instead of, you know, stealing a vote from someone else, you yourself get that second vote. So technically, I see it as a complete reversal of what the original advantage was. And I have heard people complain about that. It's also with the one that Michael found, that if you're gonna do this, why not just keep the original piece of, why not keep the prop the same? But I actually like the idea that they're switching it up, because now this puts more pressure on the players. Now there's like other leeways you can use these advantages. So I don't mind it, and I actually think that this will be interesting for Kellen, because is she gonna stick to old Naviti, or is she possibly gonna work with other people? We'll have to wait. So we get to Naviti, who come off winning a really big reward, and Donathan is very proud of himself, and people are just kind of like celebrating that they won, yet Bradley, being the dick that he is, and I'm gonna be using that word a lot in this video, so sorry about that, he decides to just bark out orders to Donathan, being like, dude, chop chop, we need to get this fire made, we gotta get this food cooked. And I'm like, dude, just calm the F down, you'll get your food. Everyone's hungry, believe me. Everyone on this tribe and in this game are hungry. So celebrate for like 2 seconds and then you can eat your food that you just won. And what I find hilarious is that he himself in his confessional said he's trying not to be a dick because he tends to be that way in life. And I'm just like, dude, you're not doing a good job if you're trying not to be a dick. You literally are one, and I don't think there's much to saving yourself from that. So, sorry about it, Bradley. And this basically gets the ball rolling for everyone else to be like, we probably should send him home because he's getting on everyone's nerves, he's not easy to work with, he can be ill-tempered at times, da-da-da-da. And this puts Donathan and Libby in a good position because originally they were on the bottom since they were the original, original Malolo tribe members, and they thought they were on the bottom. Now it gets shifted to Bradley, so this possibly could start some new possible alliances in the future. So going to Yanuya, they themselves are also celebrating having chicken kebabs, and a cute little moment is when Wendell gets everyone in his tribe to sing happy birthday to his girlfriend Nicole. And then after that, Wendell decides to look for an idol, and he ends up finding a clue to where a idol will be found. He goes there, he finds it fairly quickly, at least by the edit, and yes, he does find another idol. We have an advantage, 1 on Ghost Island and 2 hidden immunity idols. And this one in particular, again, very, very iconic. It is the immunity necklace from Micronesia. A lot of Micronesia love in this episode. I don't know if that was planned, but a lot of Micronesia, but that was a season full of a lot of mistakes in Survivor history. But he ends up finding the hidden immunity necklace that Eric gave away to Natalie in the final 5. The women had all tricked Eric into giving Natalie the necklace, and they end up just flipping on him and sending him home. It has gone down in history, if not the one of the most dumbest mistakes in Survivor history. So this is iconic Survivor history right here. So it's really cool that Wendell has it. However, it is gigantic, and it is being played as a hidden immunity idol, I should say. It's gigantic, so he's not gonna have the best job of hiding that, nor, I don't know how he's gonna be able to play because it's gonna take up so much space in his bag. So now back to Malolo, they are so down in the dumps, and Desiree even declares that Malolo is the worst tribe in Survivor history. And in her defense, I will say, if you were in that situation, that it would feel terrible for you. That it would feel terrible for you to be in that situation where you just keep losing and losing and losing. I'm sorry, that's not true. There have been plenty of worse tribes in Survivor history. The first thing I think of, I can't remember the name, but if any one of you have ever watched Survivor Philippines, it was the Blue Tribe. It had Russell Swan, it had Malcolm, it had Denise, who ended up winning that season. It was down to Malcolm and Denise. They were the last 2 of their tribe, and they ended up having to put one person on the other tribe and one on the other. That's one of the worst cases, as well as Oolong, if I'm getting the name correct. Yeah, Oolong from Palau, where Stephanie was the only person to survive her tribe. Everyone else in her tribe got completely decimated, and until it was just her. I'm sorry, that has not been done since in Survivor history, so I don't think you can really claim to be the worst tribe when you haven't been through that situation. So, but in this just sadness of them losing all the time, they end up taking the banner that's underneath the main tribe flag. They end up taking it and they end up burning it, which I don't think has ever been done in the show before. But if it's symbolic for them and if they think it's gonna work, just let them do it. I don't think the producers had any qualm about them doing that, so. Moving on to the immunity challenge, we had Yang Yua win first, but it ends up that the curse was reversed and Malolo finally wins an immunity. They are safe from tribal council, so everyone is safe, and obviously they are highly, highly relieved to not be going to tribal council. So that does send Naviti to tribal council, and on the chopping block we have Bradley and we have Libby. So basically the big debate is, who do you keep? Because Dom, Chelsea, I think, are the ones who are really going to instigate where this vote goes. Because one of their alliance members is on the chopping block, and they 100% agree that he is someone that could give them problems in the future because he is, like I said before, hot-tempered, he gets on people's nerves, da-da-da-da-da. But he is loyal to Naviti. He is loyal to them. So is that a sacrifice or whatever? And then you have Libby, who has not been a member of Naviti, has been described by Dom and Bradley that she is kind of like a Parvati 2.0, which, as I've said before, don't 100% agree with. But the thing is, she can work with them once the merge happens. There's been enough time away from old Naviti, old Malolo. And I think because she's on the bottom with Donathan, she's willing to work with them in the future once the merge happens. So, do you keep someone who's been with you since the beginning, or do you maybe give them up for someone else who could be more beneficial to you in the future? That's kind of where it's at right now. We get to tribal, and at first I think Libby starts talking a little too much, talking about her strategy and her theory behind the Morgan vote, since she was the main instigator for that vote. Well, not instigator, but she was the one who ended up writing her name down, and that's the vote that ended up sending her home. I did feel like maybe that was giving away too much, but maybe it was, in a way, her opportunity to tell Dom and Chelsea, look, I can be loyal to my alliance if I'm with you. You know, this is what I had to do for my tribe at the time, and this is what I can do for you. But then Brad kind of jumps in, and he ends up being the one talking too much, because then he starts admitting, yes, I can be a confrontational person, I can be a bit of an asshole. I'm using another bad word there, but honestly, I don't know how else to describe him. And then he starts talking too much. So basically, again, it's just left with Dom and Chelsea being like, who do we need to keep? And at the end of the day, they end up choosing Libby, and Bradley ends up being the next person voted out of Survivor Ghost Island. Thank God. Literally, I didn't think I would be as happy to see anybody else go home. I've been shooting since pretty much the first episode to see Dom go home, but I didn't think I would hate Bradley that much. And I do, and I'm so glad that he is gone, and hopefully this will be a lesson to him if he ever watches this back, that he can learn to be humble. So bitch, sit down and be humble. So as of next week, it is finally merge time! We are gonna go over the merge next week. I'm so excited. A lot of things are going to change. It's gonna be interesting to see which alliances will stick together, which ones will fall apart, da-da-da-da-da. But also, this does instigate that we're gonna have Chris versus Dom 2.0. And that I'm not really excited to see, because the whole alpha male thing is getting a little boring and just not, to me, not interesting to watch at this point. So we're gonna have to wait and see on what's gonna come out of that. Or maybe there could be a third alliance that'll come and kind of break up this alpha male thing going on, because that will be interesting. I do want to do something a little bit different that I haven't done on my videos before, and I actually want to do an idol count, because this season we have a ton of advantages and a ton of idols, so let's go through it. If I have this correct, we have Dom, who has a hidden immunity idol still. I don't think he's gotten rid of it at this point, and he also has a legacy advantage that he got from Morgan. Then Michael has a hidden immunity idol, Wendell has a hidden immunity idol, and Kellen has the secret advantage. So we've got a lot of stuff floating around in the field right now, and I can only imagine that this is going to keep playing throughout the game until the very end. So we'll have to wait and see on what more will be coming in. And I don't think I'm going to do a chopping block for next week, since it is going to be the merge, and I don't want to put someone's name out there because I don't know how the dynamics are going to change. So I'm just going to leave it open-ended, and we're going to see next week what is going to happen once the merge actually happens. So on that note, I'm going to end the video here. I hope you guys like it. If you did, please give it a thumbs up. Leave me comments down below. What did you think of this week's episode? And if you want to see my future videos or videos I've already done, go ahead, hit subscribe, and hit the little bell icon so you can be notified when my videos come out. That's all I have for you guys today, and until the next video, bye! Mwah.